What is up, SmackNPie here, and welcome back to another video here on the channel. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Poppy Playtime, a new series that will start here on the channel. I promised you in my last video that we will start theories and news update on this game because it is one of the best games from indie section I've played in a long time. And Huggy Wuggy, that character who wants to hug my Wuggy, he is one of the most unique designs I've seen. So I'll put the link into the description down below if you still haven't watched that let's play video, number 1, and number 2, get the game for yourself. Seriously, it's very cheap and it is worth it. Link into the description down below. So today I'm going to talk about chapter 2, some theories here and there, and what I feel like should happen in the upcoming chapter for Poppy Playtime. Now, for the start, if you go to the Steam, it says on there, and this is very important, the game currently includes the first chapter. Any future chapters will also cost $4.99 and will be in the form of DLC. It's been the same situation we've seen with Dark Deception, we've seen with Bendy and the Ink Machine, Sally Face. They basically start, and if they become a cult hit, like an indie cult hit, they then transform into chapters, and they translate very well if they become popular, and they become popular for a reason. This is one of the unique games this year, and I feel like it deserves all of the praise because of the work that's been put into it. But Huggy Wuggy, the character, might be the face of the game itself, but the game's name is Poppy Playtime. The doll, Poppy, from the Playtime company, the game belongs to her at the end of the day. So with all that said and done, ladies and gentlemen, now let's talk about Poppy Playtime. 2 points that made me fall in love with this game. Number 1, of course, is Huggy Wuggy's character design. It's so freaking scary. And number 2 is the story. It's very gripping. The soundtrack, after you collect 3 tapes, when you start looking for the 4th tape, the soundtrack really merges very well with the story that they're trying to tell, and it's very well told. Now, in chapter 1, which is called A Tight Squeeze, the synopsis says, as an ex-employee of the Playtime company, you finally return to the factory many years after everybody within disappeared. So let's talk about story a little bit here. You basically are an ex-employee in the Playtime company. You get this message from someone anonymous with the VHS tape called Vintage Poppy Commercial and a letter that says, everyone thinks the staff disappeared 10 years ago. We're still here. Find the flower. And the VHS tape, we've already seen it, is the intro to the game itself, where you see Ludwig, the creator, in a commercial selling the Poppy doll. Now, I have videos planned for each of these characters, their backstory, and the Playtime itself, the dark secrets, for upcoming dates, but I just wanted to make a quick synopsis of the entire story. So something happened, something tragic happened with the Playtime company itself. It got shut down, it got abandoned. They said that the workers disappeared 10 years ago, but we're still here. And since you play as an ex-employee, you are here returning after 10 years in Playtime company to figure out what went wrong, what exactly happened. And from there the story begins. You find other VHS tapes that are really important, and you get deep and you keep going below underground, solving puzzles, and finally, rather unintentionally, you activate one of the toys that were alive. One of the toys named Huggy Wuggy, one of the popular toys from Playtime company, a very well-selling toy. But you have this one of the terrifying Went chase sequence in any game. The animations, the soundtrack, the gameplay, everything works so much perfectly. You finally escape him, and using your grab pack, the 2 hands, you finally push Huggy Wuggy off into deep abyss of this abandoned factory. And as you go deep below, you finally find the flower. In here, we're just gonna skip past every other detail because each of them requires some in-depth analysis of the VHS tapes first before we get to that. But the first chapter ends with you entering this room where you see a box with a doll in it, and that doll is none other than Poppy herself. And when you finally open it, lights turn off, and Poppy says this.
You opened my case.
Yep, ladies and gentlemen, you have finally, and I mean finally, freaking let Poppy escape. And now she is roaming free. All thanks to our main protagonist for not being careful with that grab pack. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is where chapter 1, a tight squeeze. And because, you know, tight squeeze, Huggy Wuggy, but with how popular the game began, and Poppy Playtime, Poppy the doll being the center focus of this entire game, Poppy Playtime, the center focus of the company itself, one would ask a very simple question, Huggy Wuggy is done, not really. I'll get back to him in just a second. Now that we've set Poppy free, is she gonna be the next monster in chapter 2? Is chapter 2 gonna focus specifically on Poppy? Well, I have some other ideas that I feel like the developers should take. See, I'm pretty sure no one anticipated the popularity of this game, right? And seeing that Huggy Wuggy has become a separate cult in and of itself, it is very fair to assume that both Huggy Wuggy and Poppy will be part of chapter 2. But there will be more. Ladies and gentlemen, when you're entering that room, the flower room, where you find the Poppy doll, outside you'll see some other robots. You'll see Candy Cat, Boogiebot, and Brawn. Just like Huggy Wuggy, all these characters will somehow be featured in the upcoming chapters. But we can narrow down even more. I feel like my theory, ladies and gentlemen, is that Candy Cat in specific will be the next monster alongside Huggy Wuggy and Poppy Playtime and Poppy herself. They will be the monsters in chapter 2. Huggy Wuggy, guys, you gotta understand, these toys, there's some things that happened in the past with Playtime Company that caused these toys to become alive, to become monsters. In the final tape that you find after that chase sequence with Huggy Wuggy, you learn in this tape that there were experiments going on deep below in this factory, and that these toys, when finally became alive, they went rogue and attacked everyone in their path. That is why this whole thing was shut down. We'll talk about it more in future videos, but that is the TLDR for now for Poppy Playtime Company itself. And then these toys were left here, and we just scratched the top surface. We're going deep below. There are other layers down there, and Huggy Wuggy also went down there. So it is no surprise to me, ladies and gentlemen, that with the popularity of Huggy Wuggy, us setting Poppy free too, and Candy Cat being teased right in front of us before we entered the flower room, Candy Cat being teased in the production area where we literally made a Candy Cat toy. It is without a doubt, ladies and gentlemen, that both Huggy Wuggy and Candy Cat will be the main monsters in chapter 2, with Poppy, in my opinion, she should be sticking to the shadows. She should not coming face to face with us until the final chapter. She should be the final boss. But considering we have no weapons against these monsters, it doesn't matter. We will have chase scenes against each of them. Chapter 2 ending with Poppy chasing us and we finally escaping, but barely. Now, if you talk about the release date of Chapter 2 itself, we don't know how far Chapter 2 is in development. We don't know anything. I'm keeping my eye on developers and if they have anything to say about this. One thing is for certain, that the chapters are seemingly small. They're not that big. So if they had any work done on this game, I'd say early 2022, first quarter of 2022 is a likely contender for me personally. Early 2022 is where I'm putting my money on this. The developers are talented as heck. I'll put their links into the description down below. And with that, that's a wrap for today's video. A part 1 of sort for Poppy Playtime. Theories, analysis, news, and updates. We will regularly cover this game on the channel. So if that's something that interests you, make sure you are subscribed with the notifications on. Play the game yourself. It's absolutely worth it. Check out my playthrough, link into the description down below. And subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at SmackNPie, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care and peace.